Hold up, they're telling us Caitlin Clark just has another routine groin injury? But what if I told you there's something much bigger happening behind closed doors? Something that could completely change how we view not just her season, but her entire future in the WNBA. Because while everyone's focused on when she'll return, they're missing the real story, the pattern that's been staring us in the face all along. Before we dive into what's really happening with Caitlin Clark, if you're Team Caitlin like we are, hit that like button right now to show your support for our girl, because she needs us more than ever. Here's what they don't want you to notice. This isn't just Caitlin's third injury this season, it's her third soft tissue injury following the exact same pattern. Left quad in May, left groin in June, now right groin in July. Do you see it? Her body is literally breaking down systematically, alternating sides like it's compensating for something deeper. And when athletes start compensating, that's when careers can take dangerous turns. Let me paint you the real picture here. Caitlin Clark went from never missing a single game in 185 straight contests to missing 11 games in just half a season. That's not normal wear and tear, folks. That's a body screaming for help. And the most terrifying part? Her shooting percentages tell the whole story. She's hitting just 36.7% from the field and a career-low 27.9% from three. Those aren't slump numbers. Those are, I can't plant my feet properly numbers. But here's where it gets really interesting. Remember when Stephanie White said these soft tissue injuries sometimes nag until you can actually have time to really allow to heal in the offseason? That wasn't coach speak. That was a confession. They know this isn't getting better with rest. They know she needs months, not days. And that's why they're doing something unprecedented. The New York specialist trip? That's not routine, people. When a franchise player flies out of state for medical consultations, it means the local doctors have thrown up their hands. It means they need someone who's dealt with career-threatening situations before. And trust me, these aren't the doctors you see for a simple strain. These are the specialists who saved Kevin Durant's career, who kept Derrick Rose playing, who make miracles happen when everything else fails. Now let's talk about what nobody wants to address: the timing. Caitlin's injuries started exactly when the Fever's schedule got brutal. 3 games in 4 nights, back-to-backs against championship contenders, the kind of grind that breaks down even veteran bodies. But Caitlin, she's barely 2 years into pro ball and her body's already waving the white flag. That's not just concerning, that's a 5-alarm fire for her longevity. You know what's even more telling? The Fever won the Commissioner's Cup without her. Yeah, you heard that right. They beat Minnesota, the team with the best record in the league, without their supposed franchise player. On one hand, that's amazing for team morale. On the other hand, it might give management ideas, dangerous ideas, like maybe they don't need to rush their star back. Maybe they can afford to be extra cautious. Maybe they can start planning for a future where Caitlin isn't playing 40 minutes a night. Speaking of Minnesota, let's address the elephant in the room, the Liberty game that everyone's worried about. Jonquel Jones is back, fully healthy, ready to dominate. And the Fever? They're walking in there without their floor general, without their best playmaker, without the one person who makes their offense click. Last time they faced New York without Caitlin, it wasn't just a loss. It was a demolition, a complete breakdown of everything they've built. And now they have to do it again, except this time, everyone's watching to see if they've learned anything. But here's the conspiracy nobody's talking about. What if the Fever are actually being smart? What if they've seen what happened to other young stars who got pushed too hard, too fast? Think about it. Derrick Rose, Brandon Roy, Penny Hardaway, all phenomenal young guards who burned too bright too quickly. Their bodies couldn't handle the load, and their careers became a series of what-ifs. Is that what we're watching with Caitlin? The beginning of a cautionary tale? Let me drop some truth on you. Athletes' bodies don't just randomly break down in their early 20s. When you see this pattern of recurring soft tissue injuries, it usually means one of 3 things. Either the training staff messed up big time, the players' biomechanics are fundamentally flawed, or there's an underlying condition nobody wants to talk about. And considering the Fever just hired a new medical team this offseason, option 1 is looking pretty suspicious right now. You want to know what really has me worried? The silence. Not just from Stephanie White, who's mastered the art of saying nothing while talking for 5 minutes. I'm talking about the complete radio silence from Caitlin's camp. No Instagram updates showing her working out. No optimistic tweets about feeling better. Nothing. When athletes go dark like this, it's usually because the news isn't good. It's because they're processing something heavy, something that might change everything. And let's address the statistical elephant in the room. The Fever are 3-4 without Caitlin this season. Not great, but not catastrophic either. They're learning to survive without her. Players like Kelsey Mitchell and Alia Boston are stepping up, finding their rhythm, developing chemistry that doesn't revolve around Caitlin. That's beautiful for team basketball. It's terrifying if you're Caitlin Clark and your entire identity is built on being indispensable. Here's what I think is really happening, and brace yourself because this might sound crazy. The Fever are preparing for two different futures. Future A, where Caitlin comes back fully healthy and leads them to glory. And Future B, where she becomes a part-time player, load managed like Kawhi Leonard, preserved for the moments that matter most. The specialist visits, the cautious approach, the vague timelines, it all points to them hedging their bets. You know what nobody's mentioning? The money. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, she's a brand. She's merchandise sales, ticket revenue, and TV ratings rolled into one. Every game she misses costs the Fever thousands, maybe millions, yet they're still keeping her out. That tells you everything about how serious this situation really is. When teams choose long-term health over short-term profit, you know something's seriously wrong. Let me paint you a picture of what Tuesday night against the Liberty might look like. No Caitlin to break the press, no Caitlin to create space for others, no Caitlin to hit those momentum-shifting threes. Just a young team trying to survive against a championship squad that smells blood in the water. It could get ugly. Really ugly. The kind of loss that makes people question everything about this team's direction. But here's the plot twist nobody sees coming. What if this adversity is exactly what the Fever needed? What if learning to win without Caitlin makes them unstoppable when she returns? Think about it. Right now, teams game plan entirely around stopping Caitlin. Take her away and suddenly defenses don't know what to do. Players who've been in her shadow get chances to shine. The offense becomes unpredictable. Maybe, just maybe, this injury is a blessing in disguise. Of course, that's only true if she actually comes back. And that's the question nobody wants to ask out loud. What if she doesn't? What if these specialists in New York deliver news that changes everything? What if we're watching the beginning of the end of one of the most promising careers in women's basketball history? I don't want to be dramatic, but when a 23-year-old is dealing with their third soft tissue injury in 3 months, you have to start asking uncomfortable questions. The pattern is impossible to ignore now. May injury kept her out 3 weeks. June injury knocked her out for 5 games. Now we're in July, and nobody will even guess at a timeline. That's not progress. That's regression. That's a body that's breaking down faster than it can heal. And for someone who plays with Caitlin's intensity, who relies on explosive movements and quick changes of direction, that's career-threatening. You want to know what really scares me? The way Stephanie White talked about it. These soft tissue injuries sometimes nag. Sometimes, try always when you don't address the root cause. And that root cause could be anything. Biomechanical imbalances from favoring one side, muscle weakness from coming back too soon, or worse, a connective tissue issue that means she'll be dealing with this her entire career. Here's something else to consider. The Fever have been remarkably quiet about bringing in additional help. No emergency signings, no trade rumors, nothing. Either they're supremely confident Caitlin will return soon, or they've already accepted this season might be a wash. And given how cautious they're being, I'm leaning toward the latter. They're playing the long game, even if it means sacrificing the present. The real victims in all this? The fans. The ones who bought season tickets to watch Caitlin Clark dazzle. The young girls who wear her jersey and dream of being like her. The sport itself, which loses viewers every time she's not on the court. WNBA ratings literally dropped 55% during her last injury absence. That's not just a star player, that's the face of the league. And right now, that face is sitting in a specialist's office in New York, waiting for answers we might not want to hear. But let me give you some hope, because we all need it right now. Caitlin Clark is a fighter. She didn't become the all-time leading scorer in college basketball by giving up. She didn't transform the Fever from laughingstock to contender by taking the easy path. If anyone can come back from this stronger, it's her. The question is whether the Fever will give her that chance or wrap her in bubble wrap for the rest of her career. The next 48 hours are crucial. If Caitlin misses the Liberty game, which seems certain, watch how the team responds. Watch if they compete or collapse. Watch if Stephanie White finally cracks and gives us real information. But most importantly, watch for any news from those New York specialists, because their verdict won't just determine Caitlyn's immediate future. It might determine whether we're watching a temporary setback or the beginning of a tragic what-if story. Look, I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom here, but when you see this many red flags, when you watch a generational talent struggling with injury after injury, when coaches start talking about nagging problems that last until the offseason, you have to prepare for all possibilities. The best case scenario? She comes back in August, leads the Fever to the playoffs, and we laugh about how worried we were. The worst case? Well, let's not go there yet. What's definitely true is that Tuesday's game against the Liberty will tell us everything. If the Fever compete without her, if they show growth and resilience, maybe this time off is exactly what everyone needed. But if they get blown out again, if they look lost and overwhelmed, then we'll know the truth. That this team, this season, this entire project revolves around one fragile 23-year-old whose body might not be able to handle the pressure. The silence from Caitlyn's camp is deafening. No injury updates on social media, no workout videos, no optimistic messages to fans. Just silence. And in professional sports, silence usually means one thing: the news isn't good. They're buying time, hoping something changes, praying those specialists find a solution that doesn't involve shutting her down for months. Here's my prediction, and I hope I'm wrong. Caitlin Clark won't play another game until August. The Fever will hover around 500, maybe sneak into the playoffs, maybe not. And we'll spend the entire time wondering if we're watching the last healthy moments of a career that burned too bright, too fast. Because that's what happens when you become the face of a league before your body's ready for the burden. But you know what? Even if that's true, even if this is the beginning of a challenging journey, Caitlin Clark has already changed women's basketball forever. She's brought eyes to the sport, inspired a generation, and proven that women's basketball can captivate audiences just like the men's game. That legacy is secure, no matter what happens next. So, what do you think? Are the Fever being too cautious? Or is this injury more serious than anyone's admitting? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you made it this far, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we'll be covering every update, every game, and every development in this story. Until next time, keep supporting women's basketball, and let's all send positive vibes to Caitlin Clark. She needs them now more than ever.